Sit still. Don't talk loudly. Pay attention. Don't run the hallways. Do your homework. All of us are sadly very familiar with these phrases. Children hear them almost every day thanks to school, classrooms, and teachers. In school, there's always someone else who decides what should you do, how should you behave, and what should you spend your time on. But as you can probably guess, it does not usually work out because children and students simply do not understand the value of those rules because it is not and never was their choice. In fact, for them, it is just a weird rule that they have to obey unless they want to get punished. But punishment is worth absolutely nothing without an explanation. It just leads children to hating school and studying in general even more. On the other hand, when it's you who sets rules and boundaries for yourself on your own without anybody else to tell you what should you do, you have a lot more chances to stick to your original plan. It's because you can clearly feel the weight of responsibility on your shoulders, and you know that you will feel guilty if not doing what you planned to do earlier. So my question to you is, isn't it a lot more effective when the result is only up to you, your choice, your decision, and the strength of your will? Now let's imagine that you are the one creating your learning environment, which actually is ownership in learning as well. Developing ownership in learning is a very important aspect of education, as it makes children more engaged, motivated, interested, and what's most important, more involved in their future plans. I personally think that students must be the actual center of education system, as it's them and only them whose lives, careers, and knowledge it really affects. They do have a word to say and action to take when teachers are giving them endless tests, exams, homework, and curriculums. Their thoughts and wishes must be listened to. And there are some ways how we can develop ownership in learning. First of all, we should give children more autonomy. Well, age-appropriate levels, of course. Autonomy in learning refers to having freedom and independence in making your own choices and decisions about your learning process. Those can be, for example, choosing topics that you want to study, choosing methods that you want to study with, and of course, choosing path that you want to progress in. When kids do have autonomy, they feel a lot more invested in their studies, as again and again, they have this sense of control and responsibility. It also helps them to develop very important life skills, such as time management, self-directed learning, and self-directed learning and time management. Well, all of us need these skills in the future, in adulthood, so practicing them as soon as possible definitely won't hurt. Secondly, we should encourage collaborations with peers, teachers, and mentors about big projects, presentations, exams, homework, and curriculums. It helps children to develop good social skills, build good relationships, and what's most important, always get instant feedback. Getting regular feedback is very important because that way students always have the latest information about their strengths, weaknesses, areas of improvement, and progress. It helps them to understand their learning process a lot better and take ownership of their personal growth and development. Now, what about something as simple as grade or maybe even a classroom? Have you ever imagined how the classroom of your choice look or function? Well, we as students spend as much as 6 hours a day at school in the classroom. So taking place in decorating and renovating it is also very important. It might sound like a cliche, but school indeed is our second home, and we must feel at home there too. Well, and when we talk about grades, as I mentioned earlier, and their connection to developing ownership in learning, where the kid is the center of education system, all of us should admit that most of the students simply study for a grade, for a high score rather than real, practical knowledge, and so was I, by the way. For example, I remember studying for a very hard biology test, and even though I got a high mark, I couldn't remember absolutely anything after the test, and it was the exact same day. After that, I realized that I was making a mistake. Studying like that was wrong because we as students should always prioritize progress over perfection, because this way students aren't only prepared for success in the classroom, but in real life too, which is way more important. Someone would develop ownership in learning, so basically change the system to the better. This concept has to be changed. Grade must be something more personalized, where teacher doesn't only measure memorization abilities, but also your social skills, creativity, critical thinking, and logic. Well, I fully understand that all the changes and ideas I mentioned earlier are not that easy to perform. It obviously won't happen overnight, but I think that it's worth it, because owning the system and controlling it by making your own choices and decisions so it would be more comfortable and suitable for you is a pretty achievable thing. After all, an alcoholic, for example, won't ever go to therapy unless it's fully his decision and he really is willing to cure. I think that there's nothing that can make you do something you don't want to do. But there's nothing and no one that can stop you from doing what you actually want to do as well. Thank you.